Elderly drug dealers, a growing trend. Well, not quite. Today we're discussing how a French film about a cannabis-selling grandma is actually challenging our perceptions of aging, substance use, and societal norms.
That's certainly an unexpected premise. What film are we talking about here?
We're delving into the 2012 French film Paulette, directed by Jérôme Enrico. It centers on an elderly woman who turns to selling cannabis-infused pastries to make ends meet. What's fascinating is how it forces us to confront our assumptions about older adults and their place in society. The film doesn't shy away from showing the harsh realities Paulette faces, living on a meager pension, struggling to pay bills, and feeling increasingly marginalized.
So it's setting up a context for her actions. How does the film frame her decision to start selling cannabis?
Well, it presents this choice not as a moral failing, but as a creative solution to a desperate situation. It's a nuanced portrayal that invites empathy rather than judgment. The film seems to be asking us, what would you do in Paulette's shoes? It's easy to make moral judgments from a distance, but when faced with losing everything, how far would any of us go to survive?
Allons, on se garde pas le môme.
Maman, j'ai personne.
Et surtout, tu m'emmerdes pas, hein.
Tu fais équipe avec René.
Mais elle sait même plus comment elle s'appelle.
Paulette.
Allez, joue. Alzheimer.
Il faut pas faire de tous les étrangers les boucs émissaires de votre malheur.
Je parle pas pour vous, Père Baptiste. Vous mériteriez vraiment d'être blanc.
Je viens saisir vos biens.
À te faire foutre.
Tenez.
Mais vous pouvez pas me faire ça, j'ai que le minimum vieillesse pour vivre. Je veux vendre de la drogue.
C'est ma belle-mère, elle est un peu spéciale.
Coucou. C'est mamie Paulette. Hashish, hash, ganja. Combien la barrette? Chut.
T'inquiète, mamie, c'est de la bonne, je vais revenir souvent.
Déjà?
J'ai la bosse du commerce.
Ah, mais c'est mamie la fonce d'air.
Je vends des gâteaux, c'est interdit. Ma gaine qui défonce.
C'est une idée de génie.
Travaille plus pour gagner plus.
Je vous file 10% sur chaque client que vous me ramenez. Attention, hein. Je touche pas aux drogues dures.
Bah, bien sûr.
J'ai l'impression de changer. Moi, qui n'aimais personne, j'ai sympathisé avec un petit pouillot, là.
On va élargir le business. Tu prends sa place.
Il faut pas recommencer, Paulette.
Qu'est-ce que vous transportez là-dedans, Paulette?
De la drogue.
Elle est bonne, celle-là.
It sounds like the film is really blurring the lines between right and wrong, legal and illegal.
Exactly. It's not condoning drug dealing, but it is asking us to consider the circumstances that might drive someone to make such a choice. And it's not just about survival. There's an element of reclaiming agency and identity that's really powerful. Paulette uses her skills as a former pastry chef to create cannabis-infused treats. It's a creative act that allows her to express herself and feel valuable again. You know, it's almost like a form of performance art.
Performance art? That's an interesting connection. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Paulette is essentially performing a new identity for herself, one that defies societal norms and expectations. It reminds me of the work of performance artists like Marina Abramović, who challenge audiences to reconsider their perceptions of reality and consciousness. Both Paulette and artists like Abramović are inviting us to question our assumptions and see the world from a different perspective. In fact, Abramović once said, "Art must be an integral part of our lives and must have the freedom to explore complex issues, including the taboo of substance use."
That's a fascinating parallel. How does the film use Paulette's story to comment on broader societal issues?
Well, it's highlighting the inadequacies of social support systems for the elderly and the economic pressures that can drive people to desperate measures. The film is asking us to consider how society fails people like Paulette, pushing them to the margins and leaving them with few options. You know, it's interesting to consider how Paulette's story might be different in a society with different drug laws or better social support systems.
So, the film is really inviting us to reconsider our approach to substance use on both an individual and societal level?
Exactly. It's not presenting easy answers, but it is encouraging us to ask difficult questions. And that's what great art does, right? It challenges us, makes us uncomfortable, and forces us to confront our own biases and assumptions. Paulette may be entertaining, but it's also a powerful social commentary. It's opening up space for important conversations about aging, economic inequality, and substance use.
It sounds like it's using humor and empathy to tackle some really heavy themes. How does the film make these big, abstract issues feel personal and immediate?
By humanizing Paulette and showing her struggles and triumphs, the film makes these issues feel personal and immediate. It's much harder to dismiss or judge when you're faced with a fully realized character like Paulette. And that's the power of storytelling, isn't it? It allows us to step into someone else's shoes, to see the world from their perspective. In doing so, it can change our own perspective and challenge our preconceptions.
That's a powerful approach. How does this film contribute to the larger cultural conversation about substance use?
Well, by focusing on an elderly woman, it's broadening our understanding of who uses and sells drugs. It's challenging the stereotypical image of the young male drug dealer that we often see in media. And in doing so, it's inviting us to consider how factors like age, gender, and economic status intersect with substance use. Paulette's story is very different from that of a young man selling drugs on the street, but it's no less valid or important. It reminds us that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to addressing substance use.
So it's really highlighting the importance of intersectionality in these issues. Is there research to support this kind of approach?
Absolutely. Studies have shown that harm reduction approaches, which focus on minimizing the negative consequences of substance use rather than punishing users, can be more effective than punitive policies. For example, a study by the World Health Organization found that harm reduction strategies are essential for minimizing the negative health, social, and legal impacts associated with drug use. It really underscores the importance of films like Paulette in shaping public discourse. By humanizing these issues and challenging stereotypes, they can help pave the way for more effective, compassionate policies.
That's fascinating. It seems like this film is doing more than just entertaining. It's potentially influencing how we think about these issues.
Exactly. Art has always been a powerful force for social change, and Paulette is a great example of that. It's not just entertaining us, it's educating us and challenging us to think differently about important social issues. And it's doing all of this through the story of one woman. It's a reminder of the power of individual narratives to illuminate broader societal issues.
So, what would you say is the main takeaway from this film in our discussion?
I think the key takeaway is that Paulette isn't just a film about an elderly woman selling cannabis. It's a call for empathy, a challenge to our preconceptions, and an invitation to consider how we can create a more just and compassionate society. It reminds us that every story has multiple sides, and sometimes the most important thing we can do is listen and try to understand.
That's a powerful message. Any final thoughts?
Well, I think it's worth emphasizing that films like Paulette play a crucial role in our society. They entertain us, yes, but they also educate us and challenge us to think critically about important issues. By presenting complex topics through the lens of a single relatable character, they make abstract societal problems feel personal and immediate. This film invites us to reconsider our assumptions about aging, substance use, and economic inequality. It asks us to look beyond surface-level judgments and consider the complex factors that shape people's choices and circumstances. Ultimately, Paulette is a reminder of the power of storytelling to foster empathy, challenge societal norms, and inspire change.
Well, that's certainly given me a lot to think about. Thanks for this insightful discussion.
Thank you for joining me in this exploration.
Je veux voir le chef.
C'est moi.
Je veux vendre de la drogue. Ça fait 10 ans que t'es plus là. Comment tu veux faire avec 600 € par mois?
n'êtes pas solvable, le tribunal a décidé de saisir tous vos biens.
Mamie, elle est où la télé?
Coucou. Oh, vous avez pas compris, je suis le précurseur du business.
Qu'elle est si important que ça dans cette boîte?
Surtout, tu dis rien à ta mère, hein.
Il pèse 100 poids, hein, votre sac. Qu'est-ce que vous transportez là-dedans, Paulette?
De la drogue. Hé, Madeleine qui défonce. J'y arrive plus toute seule. Vous voulez pas m'aider? Tu parles si on veut. J'ai l'impression de changer. À mon âge, ça me fait peur. Il y a un problème, monsieur Vito?